Good evening, ladies. Good evening, gentlemen. You're welcome to the Wednesday edition of Prime News on my Major Prime. Thanks for being with us. We are live from Douala. My name is BLANCHE Peldrine Blanche King. June 2021 plenary hearings continue to unfold with Minister Lundu Gaston and other stakeholders in charge of water and energy resources on the hot seat. Member of Parliament for Mezam South constituency equally unveiled the roots of Cameroon's long-standing problems. All this compiled in the following report done by NOLINGA.
2021 plenary session gets heated as Minister of Water and Energy Resources, head of the State Electricity Supplying Company, NEO, head of the Cameroon Water Supplier, CamWater, as well as regulatory bodies, Sonatrol and ACEL, get grilled at the National Assembly earlier this week in Yaoundé. They get to answer questions over the underperformance of the supply of water and energy in the country. After surviving 6 hours of intense questions from 30 members of parliament, the minister, Gaston Lundu Esumba, in response reveals some of the challenges his ministry is facing, while reassuring Cameroonians that electricity and water supply will be made stable by the end of 2021, following a number of projects government has embarked on.
The problem of wooden boats, and you have to change it by a cement boat because you realize that that is the first difficulty you are facing now in the sectors. And the government is working in order to improve productions by the new dam. The Veleur line transmission will be completed before the end of this year.
While the members of parliament were still dealing with that, one of them, Simon Kumasi, member of parliament for the Mezam South constituency, traces the current problem of Cameroon way back into the colonial days.
Why man, you're hearing me very well. The trouble is our colonial masters. We have reached age we can do things on our own. We can dig those boreholes, water. We can do that. Look, the representative of the people here seated are excluded from all these things. And we don't know about it. We come and sit here, talk. You go to the office and wear your coat, warm your air condition, and come again in November to come and tell us how the budget is this, is that. That is the truth, is the system of the colonial master.
Furthermore, the MP also insinuates the educational system of Cameroon is a major problem to the country's situation.
Where did the problem come from? The bad educational system we have. The education on how to read and write. Geography, history, philosophy, whole sociology. Then come and create funny names in this country. Economas superior, the Travaux public, Economas superior. It means we are training superior technicians. Where are they? That we're crying all this trouble. Where are they?
While many have adhered with his view, others think differently as they have taken to social media to disclaim of his opinion. With the end of this plenary session fast approaching, it is hoped that the lawmakers will get Cameroon to a better state than it is today.
We now revisit the official installation of the new president of the National Communication Council. Joseph Chebonken Kalabopsi was officially installed into office yesterday, and Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diangote has instructed the new president of the National Communication Council to fight against the propagation of hate speech, protect children and other vulnerable groups, and he was equally tasked with the role of fostering peace and national cohesion. All this was done yesterday during his installation. Lasha Kinsley is presently in Yaoundé. He compiled the following.
It is a new dawn at the National Communication Council. George Bonken Kalibopse's team officially takes up functions. The team was installed this Tuesday by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diangote. The seasoned journalist was instructed by the Prime Minister to reflect on sensitive issues such as the protection of children and vulnerable social groups, the promotion of peace and social cohesion, and the fight against hate speech.
Mr. President, beyond its purely regulatory mission, the National Communication Council is required to further reflect on sensitive issues such as the promotion of the ideals of peace, democracy, freedom, human rights, as well as the protection of children and vulnerable social groups through the media. In addition, emphasis should be placed on combating hate speech and the respect of professional ethics. disinformation through social media, wherein, and unfortunately, the traditional media is falling prey. Whereas its principal duty is supposed to be that of a watchdog against the propagation of fake news and calumny.
The new president of the National Communication Council, on his part, promised to play the role of the pedagogue, counselor, and whip towards the press.
I think we will educate, we will cajole, we will sanction if need be, because this is an honorable profession, that of journalism. We inform, educate, and entertain. We have to do that with the social responsibility, which is that of the press. And if the press does just what it's supposed to do, I think we will get Cameroonians on the same foot like that of the state. And if we have to educate, we have to do that with all humility, knowing that we have been trained to do that.
With over 30 years of experience in the journalism profession, many say Joe is the right man for the top job, especially at a time the media landscape in Cameroon seems to be polluted with quacks.
Pupils who took part in the 2021 edition of the First School Living Certificate have done their part as they sat in today to close the exams. In the report that follows, our reporter Itape Content visited some centers here in Douala. He says that day 2 of the examinations was a success. He's reporting the French language.
Des élèves qui chantent,
mon ami, c'est le tableau noir,
lisent et récitent au cours de l'épreuve orale à l'école primaire d'application de Bonamoussadi, un sous-centre d'examen du CEP qui a commencé depuis hier et s'est achevé aujourd'hui dans le calme et dans la sérénité.
Les travaux se sont déroulés dans la sérénité parce que nous avons respecté les mesures barrières contre le Covid-19. Les enfants sont masqués, ils se lavent les mains, ils respectent l'hygiène et la salubrité ici. Vous voyez comment c'est propre partout. Cependant, il y a eu des cas de fièvre hier qui ont été soignés avec un peu de paracétamol et les enfants se sont relevés. Et comme il ne peut pas manquer d'absence, compte tenu de l'effectif aussi, nous avons enregistré 10 absences ce matin. Hier, c'était 8. Aujourd'hui, 10.
Cette épreuve orale clôturait la section 2021-2022. Elle était précédée de celle des sciences, l'anglais tel que le dictation, le reading comprehension et le grammar and vocabulary, puis l'EPS par écrit que par pratique en raison du Covid-19. En général, malgré que quelques-uns ont estimé que la composition était complexe, la majorité des candidats ont bien composé.
C'était la science, c'était bien. Anglais, c'était facile. Anglais, je savais toutes les choses d'anglais. Et EPS. EPS, c'était facile pour moi. Mais tout c'est pour le premier jour, c'était un peu difficile. Mais c'est en sorti.
Cette journée s'est passée très bien. L'épreuve était là, je me suis quand même débrouillée en attendant les résultats du 7. On verra peut-être le 15 juin, comme l'a dit le premier truc.
Après cet examen du CEP, section 2021, place à présent au congé où certains élèves vont profiter en se préparant pour aller à la classe supérieure à travers les cours de vacances si jamais ils seraient admis. Pour l'heure, côté encadreur, les corrections prennent place d'ici demain. La proclamation des résultats est prévue dans une date ultérieure.
35 young leaders from across the African continent have been empowered with knowledge on how to foster peace, democracy and development in their respective communities. The training, which took place in Yaoundé, was organized by News Setter. Lasha Kinsley reports.
These are young leaders from the 10 regions of Cameroon, Madagascar, Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea and the Gambia. They converged on Yaoundé recently to gain knowledge on how to foster peace, democracy and development in their respective communities.
Young leaders from capable of delivering the results and expectations that people have for their leadership. So, and then also young people who are more responsible with the choices that they make as they perform civic duties. We really want young people who are not going to vote for a living. Young people who sometimes you have, you get a bag of rice as a simple motivation for voting, which at the end of the day, when the pot of soup or the bag of rice is exhausted, and then the mandate lasts for 5 years, you have the rest of the mandate to cry.
The young leaders like their peers were
The thing that is wrong in our society today is that success has been wrongly defined. People have defined success as the acquisition of riches, acquisition of properties, power, authority, and many of those young people are motivated by the quest of becoming rich rather than the quest of fulfilling purpose.
Here is the take-home message of some of the participants.
It is imperative that young people be heard, but most importantly, young people have the mandate to build their capacities and get engaged.
So I think we also have kind of have the same problem in Gambia. It's not up to an extent of people killing each other, but to, hate speeches are there which can develop to something else bigger that will affect us as a society.
Rebuilding peace through actions with inclusive reach repair was developed by the NGO New Setter in 2015. Each year, 35 youth leaders from the 10 regions of Cameroon and other African countries exchange and build knowledge, skills and values needed in their peace and democracy work.
Onto this human interest story, a 23-year-old lady is currently receiving treatment following the amputation of her right leg. According to sources, the lady's leg was chopped off by her husband following a misunderstanding. Von Quinta in the following report.
This is 23-year-old Mabel Lizette Sabine, now handicapped after her right leg was amputated in a medical facility in Fou, Central region of Cameroon. According to reports, Sabine Mabel, mother of 2 kids, married to Nzingong Jean Poulin, lost her right leg after her husband reportedly got her well beaten for serving his food to the kids. Sources say Nzingong Jean had ordered for his leftover spaghetti to be preserved in the fridge before leaving for work, and upon arrival, he was told the food had been served to the kids. Reports further say Nzingong got his wife well beaten and in the process got her seriously injured in the right leg, which only ended up being amputated when she was rushed to hospital. Sources close to family say Lizette's husband is currently under custody while she is still in hospital recovering from the traumatic scene. This scene of violence adds to many that has been recorded in major cities across the country in recent months.
You're watching the 6:30 Prime News on My Major Prime. 1 death has been recorded following a road accident in Buda West region of the country. According to sources, the accident occurred earlier today and it involved a bike rider and a vehicle. The rider ran into a car parked by the side of the road, as Nora Kakibi tells us in the following report.
The recurrent deadly accidents in the West region of Cameroon is becoming quite disturbing to many, as every now and then, deadly accidents have been recorded in this region, leaving families in tears because they lost a loved one. In the early hours of Wednesday, June 30th, 2021, the population of Muda, located in the Bambutus division in the West region of Cameroon, woke up to yet another fatal accident involving a bike rider and a pickup. Born in 1984, 37-year-old Fanning Maurice met his death as he ran into a stationed white pickup at the side of the road on Wednesday morning. Sadly, the man, who was still in his prime, died on the spot. According to eyewitness accounts, road users need to be more vigilant and responsible as they ply the roads and respect road safety measures.
On dit souvent, la roue ne tue pas.
It is often said that the road doesn't kill, but we kill the road. We have just witnessed a terrible scene by some road users of Cameroon. This time around,
It involves a bike rider who, because of excess speed, collided with a station car. Unfortunately, he died on the spot. We seize this opportunity to call on all drivers, and especially bike riders, to moderate their speed.
Et surtout les conducteurs de moto à moins d'excès, surtout aussi au centre.
The remains of late Foning Maurice was taken to the Mbuda District Hospital mortuary by the Mbuda Council authorities while waiting for his family to join them at the mortuary. It should be recalled that in less than 3 weeks, there have been continuous fatal accidents in the West region, and Cameroonians are desperately imploring all road users to be more responsible.
Thanks, Nora Kakebi. An Interurban transport agency operating in Kumba has halted activities over park conflicts with the Kumba City Council. Today, workers at the park were on a sit-down strike. Our reporter from Meme Division, Tamfu Sidwan Dimbie, compiled the following.
We have all the documents.
These are aggrieved workers of an interurban travel agency who claim the Kumba City Council has been preventing them from operating in one of their bus stations constructed following prescriptions given to them by the Ministry of Transport.
If they say we'll not operate for years, I think they will stop all your activities inside Kumba. Even for update for load Yaoundé, Kumba Yaoundé, from morning time how we used to load, we will stop all those activities. We will not do any activity inside Kumba.
They say they have been operating here for about 2 years until when the then government's delegate to the Kumba City Council, Ngokele Victor, stopped them and asked them to construct a fence before resuming operation.
They give you a criteria more follow. Say until we fence the environment for we to carry our activities within the fence, not out of the fence, and at the exact thing we will do. After we do, we notify you, say we don't finish fence, one carry on our activities. He keep on giving us promises. He unmanned the campus.
The manager says they have obtained all necessary documents and have all services following a transport terminal status they obtained from the Ministry of Transport.
We are having a bus terminal. Ministry of Transport. That is operating.
The City Council on the 29th of June 2021 stopped them from loading and offloading here and asked them to use the Boya Road General Park, a decision the transport agency turns down, stating that the place is not favorable for their passengers.
At the main park, you don't have toilet. At the main park, there's no facility of all those type of things as concerning agency.
Who they inside the main park will not get shared. A raining season this and fighting too much inside the main park. They harass Monja, a passenger there on daily basis.
The terminal is saying that you should construct an agency which is having a toilet, a resting place, and where the drivers are also going down to rest.
At press time, the Kumba City Mayor, Mr. Gregory Miwano, stated that he will only react when the company will meet him with proofs that they have been authorized to operate a bus station in Boya Road.
New executive members for Nigerians residing in Kumba, Meme Division of the Southwest region have been commissioned into their new post of responsibilities with a call for them to champion the cause of Nigerians living in Kumba and a reminder for them to remain law-abiding. The Nigerian Consul General was speaking recently in Boya, according to the following report compiled by Clarice Ekowe.
All about land. It's about character.
The Nigerian Union for Meme Division now has a new executive. The new executive will be led by Ifeanyi Akpo Maximilian, who is taking over from Elder Chief Augustine Nwafo as the new president of the Nigerian Union for Meme Division. This was unveiled during the ceremony that held at the Nigerian Consulate in Boya and that brought together Nigerians drawn from far and near. While installing the new executive members, the Nigerian Consul General for the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon, Ibrahim Bashir, in a speech tasked this new team to work for the common interests of the Nigerian community residing in Kumba, Meme Division of the Southwest region, while maintaining peace and unity as they operate in a law-abiding way.
And my message is to carry on with the good work that the outbound ESCO have started on.
the issue of trying to forge unity among our people, to work together as a team, to also champion the cause of Nigerians to be law-abiding, to always make sure that they become their brother's keepers.
Taking over the helm of affairs of the Nigerian Union for Mehmet Division at a time when Kumba, one of the hard-hit areas affected by the ongoing socio-political and economic crisis rocking the two restive English-speaking regions of Cameroon, the outgoing president of the Nigerian Union for Mehmet Division further advises his predecessor.
To have a successor like a person of Mr. Maximilian Abu, I'm so happy, and I want to advise him to always call Nigeria to desist from Cameroonian politics that are biased in the ways of the nation.
Well aware of the daunting task ahead of him, the incoming president of the Nigerian Union for Mehmet Division says his priority project will be to unite Nigerians living in this part of Cameroon.
My agenda will be to unite the entire Nigerians. For the past years, just as you read in my speech, we had a situation whereby the majority, some Nigerians were out of the union, and it disturbed us a lot.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian population residing in Mehmet Division are anticipating for positive changes from the new executive in the days ahead.
Let's now talk about the fight against climate change. Cameroon has received about 6 billion francs CFA from the German Development Bank to restore over 1,000 hectares of forest land. All this to protect the earth. Details with Alphonse Couy in the French language.
Le Cameroun a reçu 6 milliards de francs CFA sous la forme de dons par la Banque de l'Allemand du développement pour encourager le respect de l'environnement et intensifier sa lutte contre le changement climatique. Selon le ministre de l'économie du Cameroun, Alim Ousmane Mey, ce don de l'Allemand va permettre de restaurer le couvert végétal, de soutenir la population dans les activités en encourageant à préserver l'environnement. Il s'agit par ailleurs de la résultante d'un accord signé le 29 juin entre le ministre de l'économie, de la planification, de l'aménagement avec la Banque de l'Allemand pour le développement, en présence du docteur Valentin Kazé, chef de la coopération allemande, représentant de l'ambassadrice de l'Allemand au Cameroun et celui de la protection de l'environnement. Par ailleurs, ce financement a une durée de 4 ans, 2021-2026, que soit de restaurer 12 000 hectares de forêt dans le septentrion, soit 12% de l'engagement continental.
In sports, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, due to begin on July 23, is generating fresh fears in Japan, with several calls from health officials to postpone the game amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the calls, participating nations like Cameroon are preparing ahead of the global showpiece. Sportsman Harry Wana tells us more.
In 22 days from now, the roll call to Tokyo 2020 will be launched, and participating nations are busy fine-tuning their last tactics. Cameroon will definitely answer present as usual and defend the nation in 5 different sport disciplines such as judo, wrestling, boxing, athletics and swimming. Meeting at their collector headquarters Yaoundé during their first session for 2021, the Executive Bureau of the Cameroon National Olympic and Sport Committee equally deliberated on the readiness of the Cameroonian delegation prior to their departure for the expedition. However, there has been growing public sentiment in Japan lately opposing the whole.
Coordinated news produced by EWANE airline NOLINGA. My name is Genda.